All right. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Saturday game day edition. Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Hope your Saturday is off to a great start. Expect a little more rain today, but hopefully a dry out by the time LSU plays Auburn tonight. Of course, they played that 2013 game in the rain, and my Eagle 98.1 game day coach, Jeremy Hill, went off that day in Tiger Stadium, handing Auburn what would be its only loss of the season. Of course, would run the table. Trey Mason would go bonkers, and Auburn would get 13 seconds away from winning a national championship before Jameis Winston to Kelvin Benjamin out in the Rose Bowl would win the Natty for Florida State. I'm pretty sure Jeremy Hill could have run for a bajillion yards in the first half of that game if he wanted to. 25 carries, 184 on the night for Jeremy Hill that night. Another in a long line of great LSU Auburn games. So hope we have another good one tonight. Let's say some good morning, see what y'all got. Good morning, Kelly Gross, Andrew Brisser. Good morning, Crypto Chat. Hey man, I tell y'all, I'll talk about whatever y'all want, man. But I can't help it. People keep asking me about crypto. People are getting excited. Reagan Lee, good morning. Dad, good morning. Dax Jeter. Let's see. Okay, I'm at the we're going to boat race them phase. Let's go. It typically happens that way, huh, Dax? You know what's interesting, man? I don't know if y'all heard, but had Zach Blackerby on the show, and Zach is he's an Auburn guy, does Auburn radio, writes for Auburn Wire, and then hosts Locked on Auburn, so does a lot of Auburn content. He picked LSU to win by 10. I think he said 27-17, something like that. It's funny. I think psychologically, Auburn fans are now where LSU fans were after McNeese. You lose to UCLA, you have the close game or the lackluster performance against McNeese, and people were bumming. I think Auburn fans are the same way right now. It's just the schedule's reversed, right? LSU has had 2 games since then to get right, where Auburn's 2 get-right games were their first 2, and then they got their reality check. Brant Roban, morning, Scone. You think Auburn and their new coach will win his first SEC game at night in Death Valley? I think a switch will flip today for LSU. Yeah, Brant, I don't know about the whole switch flip thing. I think that's probably overstating it a bit because I think this LSU team, well, of course they can improve. Look, I mean, when people were saying they're going to go in 8 in the SEC, I said, look, y'all, teams improve. Remember 2017? Like, we would have never thought after they got blown up by Mississippi State and lost to Troy they were going to do anything. Well, they won out other than the Bama game from that point on. They were 6-1 the rest of the way. So teams improve. But this is still a flawed team. Like, the issues with the offensive line and the running game are legitimate, and that's gonna prohibit you from reaching great heights. But there are going to be games where you have matchup advantages, and this is one of them. Auburn doesn't have anybody that can cover LSU's receivers. Like LSU's receiving core is as good as it gets in college football. I can't tell you I know all 127 FBS schools and their receiving core, 1 to 10, but I put LSU's up against anybody. So, that's going to be a mismatch in a lot of games LSU plays. So you have your advantages. Brant Roban, when will Brennan return? I think Bama is what they're shooting for. Israel Fusile, good morning from the swamp in Morgan City. Alex Roboleski, do you think Stingley returns this year? Alex, if I had to guess, I would say no. Henry Burrell, but that's not something I know. It's just, I'm guessing. Henry Burrell, morning from Jonesboro, Arkansas. Go Tigers, predicting the team takes a step forward in the running game. Yeah, this probably isn't the game where that happens, Henry. Just candidly. Jason Austin, good morning. Let's see, did I see John Trey Kirkland will be back? Yes, so John Trey Kirkland and Sony Fanu are both eligible to return. So, the tricky part about that is I don't know where either guy fits in. Kirkland as a receiver in this receiving group, I mean, Kayshon Boutte and Trey Palmer, and then you got all the freshmen. You got Jack Besh and Deion Smith and Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas, Chris Hilton. You can talk about John Trey Kirkland in that mix. I just don't know where he fits, and then Sony Fanu, You know, with Andre Anthony's injury, part of what LSU's done is they've kicked Mason Smith out to end in some rotations because they have more depth at tackle. So they'll play like Ojulari, Ali Gay, Mason Smith as their rotating defensive ends. But I think you can get snaps for Sonny Fanu at defensive end. We saw Jarrell Cherry last week. I think Fanu mixes in there. He's probably the guy that maybe has more of an opportunity than Kirkland just because of the log jam at receiver. Luke O'Brien, you hit it on the head earlier in the week. Critical game for both. Win and Kentucky confidence gets higher. Yeah, for sure. I think this is I think LSU, with the result of this game, kind of goes one of two directions. Hey, babe. You win this game, you're 2-0 in the league, you go to Kentucky. Kentucky's going to be off a hard-fought game against Florida, and you've got a good shot to win that one. Then all of a sudden, you're 3-0 in the conference coming home for a massive game against Florida. You lose this game, I think your confidence is shaking a little. Now you got to go on the road to Kentucky, which is a tough matchup for LSU. If you lose that one, then you've lost 2 in a row. You come home against Florida. Then you got Ole Miss, Bama. Like, it could spiral. So I do think this is a critical game. Henry, morning, Matt. Heard you talking about Cecil Collins the other day. Played against him in the 95 state championship game. He needed 72 yards to reach 3,000. We held him to 60. I think he could have been the best to ever play the position. Small sample size, but man, he was special. There's no doubt. Jason Austin, do you think LSU can win this game without being able to run the ball? Yeah, I do, Jason. I mean, that's what they're going to have to do. But I just don't think. I just don't think it's realistic to expect LSU all of a sudden to go rush for 150 in this game. Road AU, any word on Walker Howard? What happened? Don't tell me he got hurt. Injured his left leg, doesn't return on Friday night. That's a bummer. No, I did. That's the first I heard of it. The only high school game that I lock into on Friday night is Cali High. Best team in the state, E-Rock. Running roughshod over everybody. West Monroe, crushed them. Acadiana, shut them out. Some school up in D.C., blew them out. Lafayette Christian, blow them out. Huh?
Yeah.
What?
I heard so.
Were you just trying to get me to stop talking?
No.
What did you hear?
Type of fairy in the air. I thought you heard it.
They can't hear you.
I'm not talking to them. I'm talking to you. You just happen to be on your show.
Does Nicole accept GameCoin?
I thought the game point fairy could come this morning.
The GameCoin fairy?
Yeah.
For what?
Just have a haircut and colors.
Ooh,
It's gonna
cut-
be a big one.
Cut and color
And
today.
I might need some product.
Ugh.
I mean, I think this is a game coin celebration fairy for all your success.
Where's my Roni the Tiger shirts?
I don't know, that might be on my
Do you
phone.
have all of them?
I think I do.
I had a purple one and a gray one. They're gone.
I think that was me.
How do my shirts end up in your closet?
I don't know. I was trying to be sweet about the fairy.
When Erica wants me to pay for something, she says the fill in the blank fairy. Is that the fill in the blank fairy? So like
It's the hair
the
fairy.
hair fairy came today.
No, the hair fairy has a big job today. She has hair, color, cut, and product.
Wow.
But I was just seeing if you heard her. I heard her. I don't know if you heard her yet. Maybe when you do hear her, text me. Let me know.
I don't
What
think
she
you hear.
says. I think you hear her.
I don't think so.
I think so. A little jingle, jingle, jingle. There she is.
I don't hear.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't hear anything.
Shh. That's what the fairy sounds like. Shh. It's like a little wisp in the air.
Did you just blow? Did you just?
Yeah, shh.
I don't
I
hear-
didn't do that. That's the fairy.
No, I literally just saw you do that.
No, I didn't really do that.
I watched you. Mhm.
Can you listen for Drew?
No, I'm not gonna listen for him.
If you hear the fairy, hit me up on my text line.
On your text line,
Well, you know, that's what you tell people.
because I have a show text line.
Love you.
I love you too. I love you. I said I love you.
I'm talking about the ferry.
Oh, you're talking about the ferry? I don't love the ferry. The ferry costs me money. Every time that ferry comes around.
In case you want to tell me anything along this slope.
Bye, babe. See you later.
Okay, love you.
Love you too. Merrick Mathern, like button smashed. Trey Haydet.
How about I will smash the like button if the hair fairy comes.
Oh, she'll smash the like button if the hair fairy comes. That's the trade-off. You're still standing here?
Yes,
Why?
because I was waiting for you to tell me something.
I said I love you. Bye, babe. Have a great time at Nicole's, and I hope it's a great morning for you having some away alone time. Spurge, what's up? Pat Huseman, good morning. Thomas Lamont, morning, Matt. What's up with the late kickoff? 8 Central are West Coast games. Usually the West Coast games, Thomas, are actually 9 Central. So it's 7 o'clock Pacific. Or 9 or 9:30 Central. But ESPN's doing a triple header today. So the Kentucky-Florida game's at 5, and then LSU-Auburn's at 8, which there's no way Kentucky-Florida's going to be a 3-hour football game. I don't know why they would schedule a 3-hour window, which that in and of itself is ridiculous, but that's why. Randall Offrecht, good morning. Happy game day. Damon Hinderberger, will LSU rush for 100 yards or more today? I'm going to say no. Pat Huseman, Nicholas Cantrell, Tim Gotro, Brad David. It's funny how winning covers up flaws. People seem overly confident about LSU, but this is still a flawed team. Of course it is. Brad, I would say winning masks deficiencies. When you win and you point out things that went wrong in the game, you're negative. You just focus on the negative. No, I mean, it's things that could potentially cost you. But here's the thing I'll also say, Brad, is that's relevant at times whenever you're a team that has grander ambitions. Like if, for example, LSU's struggling to run the ball or something like that, or they have, let's say they win a game, but they have like 8 penalties. And we go on the post-game show and I'm talking, look, 8 penalties is too many penalties. People are like, why are you so negative? Well, no, because if you want to be a championship team and you get into a game against a really, really good opponent and the margin becomes thin, those are the types of things that can cost you that you have to clean up. So that's why you mentioned them. This team isn't going to compete for a championship. So that's why last week the whole direction of the postgame after the Mississippi State win wasn't, oh man, they suck. How did they let State get back in the game? Blah, blah. Like, it was, you won a road conference game against a team that blew you out last year. I mean, they didn't blow you out, but you know what I mean. Scored, threw for 600 yards on you last year. All that perspective matters. Gulf South realized today this is the 5th year in a row I'm in Disney World for the Auburn game. Completely unplanned too. Maybe it's just how they're scheduling Auburn and how you schedule your trip, if it's the same time of year. But enjoy, man. Find a good place to watch the game. Should be good tonight, man. It's going to be late out in Orlando, right? Should be a 9 o'clock start in Orlando. Ooh. Paul Pollard asked about Walker Howard. I don't know, Paul. Maybe we'll get some news today. Merrick Mathern, cut, color, and product, Matt. That will be expensive. Did you hear Merrick Mathern?
Yeah.
He said cut, color, and product. Matt, that will be expensive.
It will be.
It will be.
That's what the ferry pays for.
Mm.
I'm trying to save you money. Bye.
Bye, babe.
I love you so much.
I love you too so much.
You're the greatest in the world.
I know I'm the greatest in the world. Thank you. No, you're the greatest in the world.
Thanks, babe.
Yep. See you later.
Hit me up.
About what? Like when Drew wakes up? Okay. Bobby Dupuy, good morning. The Midwest Try. Watching highlights from the 2019 season, we need someone to step up and bring some swag back to this team. That team had plenty of it for sure. Let's see, Paul, how late is Whiskey and Wine going to be tonight? Long day for you, bud. Lots of great games. Yeah, Paul, today will be long, no doubt. But it's okay, man. I'm not building a railroad or anything, but we'll go on live for Eagle 98.1 game day at 3 o'clock. And then Whiskey and Wine will start as soon as the game ends, so 11:30 we'll start. We do 90 minutes. So we'll finish up around 1. The people I feel for are Hanny and Condon because they'll start post game at 1. They'll go from 1 to 3. Meridoc, what's up, man? I don't know if you brought this up. Where's Russ been? Russ was traveling the last 2 Wednesdays. Unexpected, unplanned, and just a bummer, man. It was not anything that he just was traveling the last 2 weeks. So anyway, hopefully we get it back this week. Hunter Picard, what's up? Bayou Bengal 84. Morning, Scone. Go Tigers. LSU will have 275 passing, 160 rushing, and a 10-point win. I'm going to say both of those are too high. I think you maybe have 210 passing and 80 rushing for around 300 yards of total offense. But I would not be surprised about a 10-point victory. Let's see, if we continue to show signs of improvement, get a win any way we can, I'll be happy. I agree with you, Tim. It's a good attitude. Let's see, do you have confidence that this offensive line can get serviceable as they get more time with the O-line coach and his philosophy? This team, no. And the reason primarily, Paul, is because the level of competition is going to continue to increase. Like, maybe they will improve, but as they improve, they're going to be facing better and better competition. That's the tough part. Brown Bear 765. People complain about the late kick. I remember having to wake up at 3 a.m. in Japan to watch LSU lose to Notre Dame in a bowl game. You didn't have to wake up at 3 a.m. to watch LSU lose to Notre Dame in a bowl game. You chose to wake up at 3 a.m. to watch LSU lose to Notre Dame in a bowl game. And I'm not so sure that I would have done that. Let's see. Also, one of your HUDCO guys, Joe, should be on my roof right now, finding everything my insurance adjuster missed. Joe is Joe Morales, who is awesome and a great asset to the HUDCO team. He's doing great work down in Greater New Orleans, especially the River region, Laplace, River Ridge, Luling, all that area. So he's done phenomenal work for us. Spurge, big conference weekend. What's your call on big spreads in the Georgia-Bama game? So I kind of like Arkansas to cover, but Georgia to win. And I like Ole Miss to win outright. I picked it all week, picked it on air, and I will have a money line play on Ole Miss today. Plus 450. Incredible. I'm picking Ole Miss to beat Alabama. I think they will win the game. Not cover the spread, win the game. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm taking my shot, man. Lane is the best offensive play caller in college football. Matt Corral, I think, will be a first-round draft pick at quarterback. Ole Miss has the athletes on the edge, and the thing that people are discounting is last year Ole Miss scored a ton, but they couldn't stop anybody. They hired DJ Durkin as their defensive coordinator, and he is a really, really good defensive coach. They hit the transfer portal for a few starters. And they got a couple guys back this year that were ineligible last year, didn't play with COVID. They're better. Ole Miss is better I'm not telling you they're going to be a top 10 defense in the country, but they're good enough defensively to play complementary football to an offense that's going to score 50 a game. And I think they're going to win today. Thomas Lamont, off subject. Do you think the Dodger... Sorry, I thought I heard Drew's backpack. Off subject, do you think the Dodgers losing a wild card game would be what makes them do away with the stupid one game wild card format? No, Thomas, I don't, because what the one game wild card format does, the wild card game does, is it adds another TV window. And it adds a layer of intrigue for more teams down the stretch of the season. So while it is a flawed system to play 162 and then have a one-game winner-take-all when one team was better over the course of 162, it is absurd to play a wild card game from a competitive balance standpoint. It's another TV window. It's another revenue opportunity. It makes I mean, just look at what's happening in the AL right now with the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the Jays, who are all competing for those wild card spots. How much more intense that is right now. So, from an intrigue standpoint, I understand why baseball is doing it. That's not going to change. So, no, they're not going to get rid of it. And listen, man, my team has both won and lost that game, and I am not really pumped about it. I think they're going to end up hosting it this year. But it would not surprise me if they lost. I mean, they're going to host either Boston or Toronto, and it wouldn't surprise me if they lost that game. And it sucks, because if over 162, you're better, you should be in the playoffs. Anyway. Brad David, have you ever considered taking callers during Whiskey and Wine like the post-game? No. Nope. Where did Kiffin find DJ Durkin? Durkin, remember, was the head coach at Maryland, and he was there when the player collapsed and died, and he was subsequently fired. Oh, Drew's awake. Hang on. Say hi to Dad show. No. No. Come say hi to Dad show. Say hi. Say hi, Dad show. Say hi, Dad show.
No.
Say hi, Dad show.
Hi, Dad.
Okay.
No.
You didn't want to come say hi to Dad show?
No.
No. No. All right. See you later. Hang on. Shout out to Brock, y'all. Just a few weeks away now from Brock Rock and Wine. Brock's big fundraiser for the Brock Foundation. It's on the open date, October the 30th. So say a few weeks. I guess we're 4 weeks away from it. Tickets at brortho.com, brortho.com. So DJ Durkin was Maryland's head coach. What year was that? 2018, maybe 2019? 2018, August of 2018, when Jordan McNair died. Remember, that's when Matt Canada took over as head coach for Maryland that season. He had been at Florida, and was actually Florida's interim head coach when they fired Jim McElwain. So, and then he went to Michigan, and then he got the head coaching job in Maryland. Good defensive coach. Young guy, he's only 43. Let's see, what are your thoughts on Ben Simmons? I think he's a great player. He's doing what a lot of guys do now. They call their own shots in the NBA. It's an era of player empowerment. It's what Anthony Davis did. It's what Chris Paul did. It's what LeBron's done. It's what James Harden did. It's what Durant did. A lot of them are doing it. Let's see. Nobody wants to see the Cardinals right now. I disagree with you. I mean, it's a nice win streak, but whatever. Meridoc Baraki, Jeremiah Hardell. Do you think Notre Dame is going to get Walker Howard? No, I think Walker Howard's going to go to LSU. Kerry Hughes, the Catholic D-line, bro. Filled the gaps all night. Gonna need that from LSU tonight. Yeah, man. Try to tell y'all, Kerry. Calic High, best team in the state. It's not even really close. They are whipping everybody, too. But anyway. Danny Braywick, stopping the run is going to be key to this game for LSU. I would agree completely. I think LSU's got to use numbers to the box. I mean, this is pretty easy. Just commit numbers to the box, stop the run, trust your corners out on an island, think that they're better than Auburn's receivers, which they should be. Dale Broussard, a fractured leg for Walker Howard. That's a bummer. God, that's a bummer. Feel for that kid, man. Dax Jeter, both fan bases think they're going to lose. I remember an Auburn week like this. I know it's kind of weird. Jason Austin, Matt, you and Erica are hilarious. Stephen Miller, good morning. How about the Bears? With the schedule they had, who had them 5-0? I don't know, Steve. Steven, I remember having a conversation with people like they may be winless in the pre-district and then win all their district games and still win state. But they beat whoever that team with good counsel up in Maryland. They shut out Acadiana. They went to West Monroe and won. Beat the hell out of Warren Easton last week. Last night they beat Lafayette Christian on the road. Bruh. They're a bear. Let's see, Dad. I need a game coin fairy. Oh God. Happy game day. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Amen to that, Stephen. But we always like to flip to the last chapter and know how it's going to end. Sometimes you just watch it play out. But I think LSU got a great chance to win today. Man, I picked them. I forgot the exact score I gave on air. I think maybe I said like 31-21, something like that. We'll see. Chris Maggio, good morning. Patrick Cason, good morning. Michael Cook, good morning. Tony Williams. Stevie Marenta. Is Stingley going to go tonight? No, he's not. Stingley will not play tonight. But you are going to get Cam Wire back and John Troy Kirkland, Sony Fanu. So getting some guys back. Slee Sue, greetings from Indiana. Bubba Tatum, good morning. Paul Walston, imagine if the Ferry bought more game coin instead of cut color product. Yes, Paul, imagine that. Jake Lopez, is Sage Ryan ready to go yet? Interestingly enough, Jake, nobody's really asked much about Sage Ryan. I think they've been settled at safety with Major Burns, with Jay Ward coming back last week. And I think the thought was that Sage could end up playing sort of a nickel safety role. But man, Cordell Flott's been incredible. Like, we did a story this week. I'm not sure if you saw, but ESPN.com had this list of like the most improved players in college football, or the biggest surprises in college football. And then Cordell Flott, I didn't realize this, but they used one of the Pro Football Focus metrics. Cordell Flott has the highest rating for any slot cornerback in college football so far through this season. Incredible. His rating was like a 54 last year. It's like 89 right now, something like that. Incredible. Jason, lack of recruiting on the O-line is finally caught up with LSU. Jason, that's part of it, but it's not just, I would say, the lack of recruiting, because they have numbers. I think they've had some either misevaluations or lack of development. I think, like, for example, I know everybody asks about Cardell Thomas all the time. Everybody in the country wanted Cardell Thomas. He was a big, 5, high 4-star guy and a top 100 player, and it just hasn't worked out for him. Dumerville was a highly rated player. Hadn't been able to push through and get on the field. So, I mean, some of those guys are just, recruiting misses. Charles Turner was a IMG Academy guy who came in, was just really thin, and he knew they needed to put weight on him and thought he'd end up being the starting center. Well, he ended up having to go get Liam Shanahan. That tells you a lot, because Shanahan's a nice player, but he's not an NFL guy, and he's really not an SEC caliber player. But he's been steady. I think he's going to get bullied by some of the bigger, But look what's happening next week with Kentucky. I mean, they play a 3-4 with a 330-pound zero technique nose. That's going to be tough for Shanahan next week. Danny Braywick, SVP was talking about how odd the line on Georgia-Arkansas is, like they're begging you to take Arkansas. I kind of agree with that, but I think Arkansas has played steady enough to where they can stay inside of that number. It wouldn't surprise me if Georgia, rips and runs and scores late. I don't think Arkansas is going to be able to score much in that game. I think that's the big difference, is Georgia's defense will just put their thumb on Arkansas all day. Arkansas has been a nice story, but their reality check comes now, like at Georgia, and then they're on the road at Ole Miss, and they'll lose those two, and they'll lose to Bama. They got to come to LSU. So, I mean, I think Arkansas is probably an 8-4 team, which is a great season for them. Boise Yarborough, how much game coin should I buy today? As much as you can afford to buy and afford to lose. I'll never tell anybody what they should buy. Rodney Poole, what's up, Scone? Do you think Coach O will be our coach again next year? Rodney, I do not. I know many of you will criticize me for that and call me a hater, but I formulate my opinions based on conversations I have with influential people around the university athletic department. And I've told y'all since the summer that everything I was told was he needed 9-3 to feel safe. 8-4 was iffy, depending on how it looked. 7-5 that he was going to be fired. I know there are board members who want him fired for cause now. And the more you lose, the more that sentiment grows. And I also know they've started subtle conversations about buyout money for O and staff. Like they're getting their ducks in a row. I mean, it's a very real thing. So now, maybe they win out. Maybe they win out, lose to Bama, go 10-2. Or maybe they lose to Bama and Florida and go 9-3. If that's the case, great. Now, if it were me, I think all the Title IX stuff is repulsive and I'd fire him anyway. But I don't get to make that choice. And clearly they weren't going to do that this offseason when I thought they should have. It's not just him. I cleaned house in the whole athletic department. University, too. But that ain't why y'all come to me. Y'all don't come here for takes on people covering up rape and sexual assault allegations. We come to talk about whether or not LSU can generate a run game. So that's what I'll do. Let's see. Walker Howard was scheduled to be in South Bend today. Then back tonight's game in Baton Rouge. Probably not making both, supposedly with ankle injury. That's a bummer, man. Listen, man, for Walker Howard, he's a really good player, man. You know, he'll heal and come back and wherever. I'm assuming he'll be at LSU next year. He'll do great. But I just really feel for him, man. You know, as good a player as he is, to have your senior year in high school cut short like that sucks. Dustin Cruel, good morning. Reagan Lee, the only O-line recruits that are going to be here today are committed to LSU, and it's 2, if I remember correctly. There's a long list of uncommitted players. Not one is an O-line. Got to get O-line. Well, they have Will Campbell from Neville committed. He's a 5-star tackle, and he could be a day one player. Emory Jones from Catholic is a left tackle at Catholic, but probably projects as either a right tackle or a guard at LSU. He's not going to play left tackle in college. So that's 2 really good players, you know, that you don't want to be playing true freshmen on your offensive line, but 2 guys that could contribute. And then they got another kid who, forgive me, I forgot his name. He's a defensive lineman, but they had him work out at camp at center. And it's Fitzgerald West from Lafayette Christian. So Fitzgerald West is a defensive lineman. They worked him out at offensive line and offered him to be committed. And then they've also got Bo Bordelon from Newman. So they actually have 4 offensive linemen committed in this class. But they could always use more. Chad Wilkin, play of the day. Bama, Ole Miss, 3rd straight scores by either team. Oh, Ole Miss, 3 straight scores by either. Oh, okay. Chad Wilkin, play of the day in Bama, Ole Miss. 3. This is why punctuation matters, Chad. 3 straight scores by either team. No is plus 367. So you don't think either team will score 3 straight times? Not a bad thought. Jamie Fortenberry, Tony Williams, Mark Vitanovich. Yep, TJ Finley back in Baton Rouge State. Interestingly enough, it just hasn't been I mean, we all talked about it this week, but it just hasn't been this it's not a topic like it might have been if Baker Mayfield went back to Texas Tech or something like that. You know. Someone needs to marry Gail Benson to keep the Pels and Saints in NOLA for the long term. She's got no kids. Well, Mark, I mean, that was the whole thing this week, is that she announced the succession plan. She's going to sell the teams, donate the money to charity, but they're extending the lease with the city. And so whoever buys the team will have to keep the teams in New Orleans. Did Auburn name a starter? Not yet, as I'm aware of. I'm guessing we'll all find out tonight together. And I'm guessing Bo Nix is going to start. I guess Bo Nix will start, and both will play. Still got Saints tickets in the Superdome, dirt cheap on StubHub. Good. Pack it up, man. Pack it up, pack it out. Stephen Mullet. Matt, what flavor cookies is your wife making for Tebow today? That's a great question. She made them last night. Homemade, like with eggs and chocolate chips and she made them last night. They're made. They're these gluten-free chocolate chip cookies with M&Ms. Trivia Carter, good morning. Trivia, you missed E-Rock going to get her hair cut and color. She was asking if I heard the cut and color fairy. For those who don't know, that's when she wants me to pay for it. She says, "Did you hear the hair fairy this morning?" But how about that trivia? She was up late last night making handmade cookies for Tebow for today. Can't even send you your Drew Bucks. Jeremiah Hardell. I'll make a bold prediction. Jameis will throw for 300 yards. Yeah, I don't see that. Hope that'd be great. I don't see that. He's not going to need to, Jeremiah. I mean, defense, no Shepard, no Slayton for the Giants. One-dimensionally. Galladay's been limited to. I think that's a one-dimensional offense, shorten the game. Saints play defense. Run it, throw when you need to. Just play discipline. Don't turn it over. You win that game by 2 scores. Let's see. Don't be such a hater on the Cardinals. They've gotten hot at the right time. Their rotation and bullpen are back and healthy. Not being a hater. I just don't care if you have a win streak in the regular season. So the Yankees do that after the All-Star break. They won 13 in a row, something like that. Who cares? Like, ultimately, you're going to get into a series. You're going to play a best of 5 or best of 7 series. And to finish that thought, there's just no way that I would take the Cardinals over either the Giants or the Dodgers. Does LSU have help coming at running back? Nope. They said Georgia defense was amazing in 2019. What happened with that Arkansas has something special going on this year. Trivia, nope. Arkansas has nothing special going on this year. They beat an overrated Texas team, and they beat a Texas A&M team with a good defense, but absolutely no quarterback play or offensive line play of which to speak. This is a different animal today, bro. What are you seeing? What does it say? What does it say?
Catholic guy.
Catholic High! Good job!
Hey,
What?
guy.
Hey, you! Hey, you! Go ahead! He wants me to yell, get out of here. And he runs away. Where are we? Matthew Lusto, good morning. Kyle Milliken, Walker Howard said the other day he will be at LSU in the spring, rooming with Will Campbell. Very cool. Good for them both, man. I didn't know that if you graduate early from St. Thomas More. I don't think Jack Besh did. I didn't know that you could graduate early from STM. Jeremiah Hardell, going to make a bold. Oh, you already did that one. Spurge, is the O-line issue players or coaching? I think it was both. You definitely had some misses in recruiting, and I think James Craig was just not developing guys. That's why you got a new guy in there who I think will be much better. Bruce Shales, LSU's front seven will decide who wins this game, in my opinion. Yeah. I don't think Auburn can throw it on LSU's secondary, so I think you commit numbers to the box, try to stop the run, and if you're successful, you control the pace of the game. Auburn, I think, is better on both lines of scrimmage than LSU, and if they win those matchups, then they're going to win the game. But I don't think they will. Steven, good morning from Auburn. Not much of a buzz around campus here this week. I think they are a bit worried. I think so too. Ooh, trivia. About to turn in my #1 E-Rock fan badge. She would be brokenhearted. Good to see you, Drew. He gone. Spurge. Where are we? All right. Dustin Cruel can't let Finley beat us. Wouldn't that be something? We all rolled our eyes at him going Auburn. I didn't roll my eyes, Dustin, by the way. You can go back and listen to anything I said when he transferred. My take on Finley has always been, since the first game we saw him play in South Carolina, that he's going to be a very good SEC quarterback. He is tall. He had the best arm of any of the quarterbacks LSU had last year, and he was way more poised than anybody would have thought. The road comeback win against Arkansas, he just did it last week against Georgia State. Kid's got a big arm. He's got poise. Just a young guy. He'll grow up. I think he's going to be a very, very good quarterback, and I think he suits what Brian Harsin wants to do more than Bo Nix. I don't know if he's going to start today, but I think he's going to play, and I think he's going to win a lot of games as Auburn's quarterback. So I didn't roll my eyes when he went to Auburn. You might have rolled your eyes, but I didn't roll my eyes, bro. I can go mark the tape to prove it. Drew Hurst, good morning. Dax Jeter, does Sophia think we're going to win? I don't know. I can call Sophia and ask her. Sophia's sleeping right now. Sophia is my niece, for those who don't know. And you all oftentimes see her on family vacation when we go in June. Headed to Clackamas, Oregon. Look at that, Brian and Andy Penn. Oh, from Indianapolis. There you go, man. Safe travels today on the road. Hopefully you get to watch at least some football on your football Saturday. Merrick may need a nap to make it through the game in whiskey and wine. Merrick, naps are good. I unfortunately don't have that luxury because I'm on air for pregame at 3 o'clock. Doggone it. Stupid 8 o'clock kickoff. But at least I'll get to watch all of Auburn or Bama and Ole Miss in studio. Okay. I think we're done. I'm going to get Drew dressed, go for an elevator ride. Then watching football today. As always, y'all, shout out to Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. BROrtho.com for tickets to Brock Rock and Wine. On the open date, October 30th, y'all help spread the word. Live music, food from the best restaurants in town. All the booze you can drink. And all raising money for the Brock Foundation. And, of course, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. I would just stress so much to everybody, patience. It's like with everything, you go to the grocery store and your favorite bread isn't there or something. Well, that's because the supply chain has been interrupted. Storms, COVID, all of it. And that's true with everything else, like felt paper and shingles that you need to put on roofs. So we're working through it, and whoever you're working with, just be patient. There was a story. A woman whose roof we're about to redo, she lost her roof during Katrina also. And somebody pulled up to her house with a flatbed and shingles, said, I have shingles, I can do your roof. So she said, okay, paid them, did the roof. They did not put felt paper down under the shingles. So basically it was a roof that just leaked. So they had to tear it off, and that person was gone. So they had to tear it off and have a reputable company actually do it right. Like, don't rush. I mean, if someone pulls up into your house, your neighborhood, with a flatbed with shingles, Those could be flooded. They could be. You never know where that. Just trust a reputable company and be patient. That's the best advice I can give. HoodCodeRoofing.com. Okay. Trivia. Tebow gets all the cookies in the world. I can get one Drew Buck. I've been waiting on since July. I'm with you, trivia. I'm team trivia here. I'm very much team trivia here. Dane Pritchard heading to New Orleans with wife and kid. Good place to eat near the Riverwalk. Ooh, what do you want to eat? If you're there near the Riverwalk, Drago's is right there. You could meander right into the French Quarter, where you could walk into any place right there. You can go get a muffalata at Central Grocery, right there on Decatur. It depends on what you want to eat. But man, there really is. So Randall said no bad options. There really aren't. You go to Dickie Brennan's. Any of those French Quarter restaurants right there are amazing. But proximity to the Riverwalk, like you're right there, you will see Drago's right there. So, okay, y'all have an awesome day. You know what's Redfish Grill is a Brennan's property. It's on Bourbon near Canal. It's a little more. It's amazing food, but it's a little more casual since it's on Bourbon Street. You could walk in and shorts and a t-shirt. But great menu, but casual. Great options, man. Great options. Just pick a place. Just pick a place, man. Okay, y'all have a Matthew. Drago's might be underwhelming, but I'm telling you, he wants proximity to the Riverwalk, and you could always go do the barbecue shrimp. It's right there. It's an institution. It's something people love. I get it. It's in the Hilton. It's in a hotel, but it's fantastic. It's a place people go. All right, y'all have a great day, and we'll see you. Peace.